All right, so it's Monday and it's in the morning and I'm prepping my crock-pot meal for today. And we're gonna have easy, shortcut, basically, chicken and dumplings. I call them shortcut because we're not gonna make the dumplings from scratch like my grandmama made them, so good. So what we have here is some chicken bouillon cubes, which of course we'll add water to make that into chicken broth. The recipe that I'm going to link, I'm not doing the exact thing, just kind of a loose basis. It calls for 2 pounds of chicken. I'm just going to do this. This is about 1 pound of chicken. My family doesn't need 2 pounds. It says a whole onion, but I'm just going to do half. Garlic, and then it says parsley, poultry seasoning, and then I think pepper. I don't have any poultry seasoning, I just never use it, so I looked at the ingredients of poultry, so I'm gonna use Italian. Not the exact same, but you know what? That's how we roll around here. Parsley, and then some fresh cracked black pepper. And lastly, or not lastly, but 2 cream of chickens. And then we're also going to use a can of refrigerated biscuits, but I'll show those later. Those come in when all this is done, so. Let's put all this in the crock pot and get it going. All right, so first things first, we're gonna put the chicken breast in the crock pot. And then I'm gonna top that with the half an onion that I diced up. And then next, we're going to put both of those cans of cream of chicken soup into the crock pot. Get all that out there, scrapey. All right, then next we're gonna add our seasonings. We're doing some cracked black pepper. You can do regular black pepper, we use the cracked. Then we're putting in some parsley and some Italian seasoning. There we go. And I'm putting in the 3 chicken bouillon cubes and dumping 3 cups of water on top to make that the 3 cups of chicken broth. And I give it a good stir. Make sure everything is mixed up really well because that soup doesn't always want to combine with the water, but we get it all mixed together, put the lid on. And since I'm going to be at work all day, I'm going to put this on low and set it for 7 hours. All right, so now that I'm home from work, I'm opening my crock pot up. Giving all the soupy stuff a good stir. And then I'm gonna get my thingamabob, my thing. I don't really know what that's called, but I use it to shred the chicken up. The chicken basically just fell apart. It was very tender after cooking all day. It didn't make it dry or anything like that, so it was perfect. And put the lid back on to keep it protected while I get the dumplings set up. So I'm taking a can of biscuits, just regular home style biscuits. You can use whatever kind you want, and getting those set up on the cutting board. And then I'm going to take my pizza slicer and I'm going to cut each biscuit into 8ths, and these are going to be used as our dumplings. You could cut these into 4ths instead of 8ths if you want to. I just prefer the 4ths. I like my dumplings to be smaller because I like to have more dumplings spread out in my meal. So now we got all those done. So I'm going to put all of these little dumplings into my crock pot. Spread them out. You don't want to put them on top of one another. You want to put them beside each other so they'll cook properly. So then I mash them down a little bit so they'll cook and soak up the juices. And then I'm going to set this for about 30 more minutes, but I think I only cooked it, well, yeah, it was 30 more minutes. So you want to do it until the biscuits are cooked through, just like this. So this is how it looked once it was all done. You see that those dumplings are nice and brown. It actually turned out really, really well if you just need a shortcut dumpling recipe, chicken and dumplings recipe. And I served it with some mixed vegetables on the side for just a little bit of veggies, but All right, so it's Tuesday afternoon, and I'm getting another crock-pot meal ready. So this one's going to be buffalo chicken pasta and in the crock-pot. And in the original recipe that I'm going to link in my description box below, you add the noodles to the crock-pot, and I was going to do that. then I just really thought about, you know, how that would turn out with me doing it. And other people could be good at that, and you could follow the recipe that I'm gonna link perfectly. I just see myself ruining that because I won't give it enough attention because I'm doing this while I work from home, and I'd have to add the noodles at the last hour while I was still working, and then I'll end up doing something for work and not doing this because I have to work. So I'm just doing this on my lunch hour real quick. So what we have, so anyways, what I mean is I'm going to change it a little bit. I'm going to cook the noodles separately and then add it later. So I'm going to make a couple other adjustments, like as in how much chicken broth I put in it. And I also didn't use the celery salt, but everything else I'm going to basically do the same. Knowing me, I'll probably make a few adjustments here and there. I'm not gonna add the cream cheese and the cheese at the beginning, and I'm gonna add all the buffalo sauce in at once instead of waiting until doing half and then half later. So anyways, we've got some linguine. The recipe calls for the full pound, but I probably won't make that much because we just won't eat that much. There's only 3 of us. I may change my mind and make all of it so my husband can have leftovers tomorrow, but it just depends on how I feel when we get to that point. We got some chicken. I'm not going to use all of this, probably just 2 of the chicken breast. A packet of ranch seasoning dressing mix, 8 ounces of cream cheese, some chicken bouillon cubes for chicken broth, cheddar cheese. I think that you only use a cup. The recipe calls for mild, but I've seen other recipes that do, the recipe calls for sharp. I've seen other recipes that do mild, mozzarella, whatever. This is what I had on hand. This is what we're gonna use. Sweet Baby Ray's buffalo wing sauce. I actually have this on hand. Garlic, ground pepper, salt. So this is everything with the exception of the water, you know, that I'm gonna use for the chicken bouillon cubes. But let's go ahead and get some of this in the crock pot. All right, so first things first, put the chicken in the crock pot like before. And then we're putting in both of those chicken bouillon cubes. And then putting the ranch packet on top of that. Next, we're dumping in about a cup of Sweet Baby Ray's buffalo wing sauce. So good. And then we're putting in our seasonings, which was garlic. And then some pepper. And then I'm pouring in 2 cups of water with those chicken bouillon cubes to make 2 cups of chicken broth. So we're going to put this lid on, and I'm going to set this on high for 2 hours because I worked from home today. So now this is done, I'm shredding this chicken with basically a mixer because the chicken wasn't as tender as before because I didn't cook it as long. But that did the trick, so it got it all broken up, shredded. And then I'm putting in the 8 ounces of cream cheese and the mild cheddar. Just sprinkle it in here. And once we got all that in there, we're gonna put the lid back on there, and I'm going to set that on low for 30 minutes so the cheese and the cream cheese gets melted. Once that's done, I got my spoon, started breaking everything apart, getting it all good and mixed. You kind of have to mix it for a while to get all that cream cheese just really, really mixed. So once that was done, of course, the sauce was a little thin, so I mixed about a tablespoon of cornstarch into a little bit of water. Mixed that up, and I poured that in there so that way it would kind of make the sauce a little bit thicker but not goopy. So I put the lid back on and I set it for 30 more minutes on low, I think. Yeah. Oh, high, sorry. Yeah, 30 minutes on high. That way it would kind of bubble and make the sauce thicker. So it doesn't look really thick here, but right here I'm going to add the noodles. And once I add the noodles, the sauce really starts sticking to them and gets nice and thick. It's worked to me a lot better than trying to cook the noodles in the pasta because I feel like I would have ruined that. That's just me. If you can do it, you should do it. I did not do it. So I just mixed it all together. Got all those noodles coated. Make sure you didn't have any dry clumps anywhere. Make sure the cream cheese is all mixed together. And this is what it looked like plated. This was amazing. So, so good. It probably would have been even better with some steamed broccoli on the side, but I served it like this because I had somewhere to be that night. But this was perfection. try it. So good. All right, so it's Wednesday and it's not morning. I was supposed to make this a crock pot meal and I didn't do it this morning. And so it's going to be a Instant Pot pressure cooker meal. So this is going to be bacon cheeseburger soup that, like I said, we're gonna do in the electric pressure cooker or Instant Pot, different variations of it instead of the crock pot. So we've got some bacon that I'm gonna cook, some green onions for garnish, 4 potatoes, some Colby Jack and cheddar cheese. I'm gonna use the last of this, and then if I need any more, because I need 2 cups, I'll use this. Pound of ground beef lean, butter with olive oil and sea salt, shredded carrots, a half an onion. It said to use just a small white or yellow onion, so I'm just going to use this half an onion. Let's see, parsley and basil. So if you've never used this, this is actually like, you find this in the refrigerated section. I get it at Kroger, but you can get it at Walmart too. So as soon as it comes in contact with water, it basically becomes like fresh herbs again. So I love these. So I had these in my fridge, so instead of using actual dried herbs, that's what we're gonna use. Chicken bouillon cubes for chicken broth, because you know I don't keep chicken broth in this house. Milk. We don't drink regular milk. We drink almond milk, so I got this little thing to use for this recipe. Salt, pepper, and flour. So we're gonna get some of the vegetables and chicken broth into the Instant Pot and start cooking that, and I'm going to cook the bacon and the ground beef, which I probably won't show because y'all know how to cook bacon and ground beef. We're just going to cook it and then add it. All right, let's get started. All right, so first I'm spraying the inside with some cooking spray. We're going to dump in the potatoes that I peeled and diced, and then half an onion that I diced. Get all that in there. Then we're going to dump in a cup of the shredded carrots, a teaspoon of the parsley, a teaspoon of the basil, the chicken bouillon cubes that are falling apart as I try to unwrap them, 3 cups of water, that makes the 3 cups of chicken broth in the recipe. Put our lid on our pressure cooker, Instant Pot, whatever. I'm putting mine on my soup function and cooking it for 30 minutes to get those potatoes soft. So after 30 minutes done, I released the pressure and I dumped in a pound of the ground beef that I was cooking while the soup was going, 8 strips of bacon that I cut up with my chicken shears, and then we're going to give that a good stirring. And then on the side, I made a roux with the milk, butter, flour, salt, and pepper. So I've added that into the soup and gave all that a good stirring too, and dumping in 2 cups of cheese. I love cheese. Giving that a good mix. It's already starting to melt onto my ladle. So then I set it for 10 more minutes. Just doesn't show it right here because it got all weird. But here is the end result. This bacon cheeseburger soup was probably our favorite meal of the entire week. Even better than the buffalo chicken pasta, and the buffalo chicken pasta was mwah, so good. You should try this, especially in this cold weather. All right, well, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you would like to see more, do not forget to subscribe. I hope everyone has a great weekend.